Alright then, part 4, I think. I'm not even sure, but part 4. And we're gonna just go ahead and put in the playable area, which is for power-ups to be able to spawn in. Go to trigger multiple, and we're gonna put it over the areas that the players will be in and not the zombies, or else if there's an area that the zombies can go to but not the players, the power-ups will spawn in that area then, which the players cannot get to, which you may have seen in some maps. So now in the entity window for the key, we're going to put target name and then playable area. You can only have one playable area. What you can do is you can first make a bunch of trigger multiples, select all of them, and then do the target name, or else it's not gonna work. And now we need to put in 1 or 2 reflection probes, which is right click reflection probe, and we're gonna put one in each room. So just position it maybe underneath the light, which would be a good spot. And we're gonna put one in here, and we're actually gonna select this light prefab as well, since we need to put a light in our new room that we had just made in the last tutorial, and position it right above the middle. And I think that should be everything we need to create a basic zombie map. So now is the fun part, setting up the scripts, or at least the few scripts that we need to actually mess with. I'm going to go ahead and save the map. I'm going to leave it minimized in case I need to go back to it. And you're going to go to call raw maps and scroll down till you find Nazi, well actually whatever you named your map, which for us was YouTube Tut. And we're going to scroll down a bit and look for initial zones, and make sure zones right here is the zone that we're going to be using for our start zone. So in this case we did name it start zone, so it was already set. And then here we can also set if we want to use hellhounds. I didn't show that because personally I do not like hellhounds, so I'm going to set these two to false. If you want to do hellhounds, I might do another tutorial for it, but for now I'm not going to. And we want to go ahead and look here, DLC 3 zone in it, and then open parentheses, close parentheses. And right here, the first add adjacent zone will say initial zone. Make sure you change that to say start zone. And now we don't need this line right here since we don't have a second zone, but it doesn't really matter. I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete it. And we need, since we did zone _1, we need to put that there. And the same thing here. And basically how it sets up is named right here. So for a new zone, let's say I call the next one, first you need to write down which zone you are leaving, so let's say zone _1, and then for this part we're going to put, let's say zone _2, and then the last set of quotation marks need to contain that enter zone 2's KVP that we put on the trigger. But we're not going to have it, so I'm just going to delete that line. And we're going to save it. And now we're going to do call rule.war mods and scroll all the way down to our map, YouTube Tut. If you look in here, you already have all of your weapons set up. And if we want to, we can go ahead and edit a bit of them. So just basically, yeah, I thought you couldn't load it. Well, maybe you did. Scroll down so you find Notepad, and this is basically where everything is for the weapon. You can change here the fire sound, this reload sound aliases. The right here is what it's gonna say in game. It's not actually gonna say this because Treyarch has set up strings for us, which actually just rename it to the actual name of the gun. And here we can set the ammo, the damage, and all that good stuff. Might go over in a different tutorial. And what we want to look for is in the maps folder and in the zombie mode.jsc. We're going to look for zombie score, and it should say zombie score start, and it has it set to 500,000. You can leave it as that since we're just testing, but if you want to go ahead and change it so then whenever people go to play your map they don't start with 500,000, you just change it there to whatever you want, as long as the last digit right here is not an actual number other than 0. And that should be all we need to configure. So we're going to open up Launcher, and we're going to go down to YouTube Tut, and we're going to click on Compile BSP, Compile Lights, Paths, Reflections, Build Fast Files, BSP Info. And I just remembered one thing we actually need. So go back into the Radiant and go to Textures, Locale, Tools. I'm going to look for Light Grid Volume, and we're going to put this over the entire map. I'm going to hit N and then target name. Wait. Actually, we don't need to put any entities, sorry. And now we save. And then go back into Launcher and make sure you got all of these ticked except for Compile This and Run Map, Mod Specific Map, and then select your map from here, which is YouTube Tut for us, and Compile Level. And here we're just going to let it sit for a moment and compile the map. And since it's a pretty small map, it should only take maybe a minute or so. At least, it just depends on how good your computer is and then how big the map is afterwards. So, if you've got a good computer and it's this small of a map, it shouldn't take long. And right here in the second time it opens up the quote Call of Duty World at War, it's going to go through the reflection probes and show the in-game images, or how the game will look in-game. Looks pretty lit, and it should be fine. And now it's just going to go ahead and do the stuff for the fast files. Sometimes you might get an error saying allocated memory isn't enough or something like that. You need to just close down every other program that you have open. Sometimes having Steam open while you compile causes it to happen. And if it still persists, you just need to sign out, sign back in. And when you come back in, just build or compile your level, and it should be fine. So it should just take a moment. I just remember now, since this is going to be a pretty simple map, what we're going to do is we're going to go to zombie mode, maps, and we're going to look for, actually I don't think it's in here, we need a different file. Set run speed, yeah. Go to your raw folder, and then maps, and we're going to select, or we're going to find our underscore zombie mode spawner, and copy it and go to our mods again, YouTube Tut, maps, paste, and open that up, and we're going to look for set run speed, and you should find set run speed and then parentheses. And since this is going to be just a simple map, the zombies have no chance of trying to kill us unless we aren't in God and somehow you fail. We're going to delete everything except for this line right here, self.zombie move speed sprint. And save. And basically that's going to make it runners from the start. If you don't want to be runners from the start, which I know some people hate, then just leave it as is, and it's going to do the normal World at War style. And that's all for there. It's just fast files and mod specific map compile level for the patch, go to mod builder and go to our map, and then we're going to check mark all the maps and all the weapons, build mod FF and build IWD. You want to double click on the zombie mode.gsc, and for the dogs to be completely rid of, since we deleted the stuff and did not put in the spawners, we're going to look for this line right here, which is near the top, which is maps underscore zombie mode underscore dogs colon init. Just delete it and then save, and then now build mod. You probably will not get the same errors as I do. I just have that because of a prefab I have, which is no problem for you guys. And we have just successfully finished our map. So now we're going to go ahead and load up World at War. We're going to go to mods and go to YouTube Tut. Go to options. I'm going to turn on my sound first. Go to game options and make sure enable console is set to yes. And we're going to type in dev map YouTube Tut. And when it lets you load, here is our successful map. I just realized now that we did not put in the power, but it's not that bad. If you want to, it's going to be in the sniper bolt prefabs. So now if we use the box, that works fine. Oh wow, lucky us. And we're going to buy PPSH. And as you see, our zombies are runners, and they successfully spawned. The lighting's pretty good. If we go in here, we can use the pack punch. And buy a jug. Ooh. I would actually buy double tap, but I'm gonna wait for these zombies to die first. And we're going to go buy quick revive, or speed card. Now if you leave out any of the perks, there's a chance that pack punch won't work, so make sure you put in all of them, even if you don't need them. You can just like put in a spot that the players will never find. And yeah, so thanks for watching my tutorial. And actually there's one more thing I need to do before we leave, and it's for Jug. Let's go ahead and just test to see if it still happens. And basically whenever you buy Jug, the zombies can take you out in just 3 hits. In that case, because I Jug zapped, I went down in 1 hit. To go ahead and fix the Jug, you want to go ahead and copy the zombie mode underscore perks from this folder here, which is right here, and go to your mods, and then YouTube Tut Maps, paste it.